Jess with Thomsen Homes, and this is Lindsey Svir with Valley Mortgage, and we're here today. We're just going to talk a little bit about new construction and lending and what's going on in the market today. So, Lindsey, I'll start by asking you a question first.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit, if I'm getting into wanting to buy a home, what would I do first for financing?
Sure. So when you're looking at financing, there's a lot of different options. A lot of times people go online. So there are lenders that you can work with online. However, I think most agents and builders in town prefer if somebody goes local.
Yes, please go local.
And really that's just because the relationships are in the community. We know the appraisers and we know the title companies and everybody that we're working with. So I really recommend people either talk with their bank, but they can also go with like a private mortgage company, which is what Valley is, and then we don't compete with the banks. We just do mortgage. So there's different options out there. I always recommend people get at least a couple of different.
Yeah, I would agree with the local. It just makes it so much smoother. You guys know what you're doing. You know the ins and outs of the taxes and the counties and all the things in our area.
Right.
Compared to online, they miss some things.
Like specials?
Yeah, like specials.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So when it comes to building, why do you think right now is a really good time to be building?
Yeah, right now is a great time to be building, mostly because inventory is still super low throughout the market here, and we have a lot of homes that are available at different stages. You can get into brand new, it comes with warranty. So yeah, that's probably the biggest reason why to do new construction right now. Just lots of options right now available. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And as far as that timeline goes, if I'm building,
Yep.
am I looking at this year, next year?
Yeah, great question. We have lots of options. So if you want to build and start from scratch and pick your own lot and then pick your own house style, we can get you into fall next year. So August will be when we're doing that. So it kind of gives you the winter to pick out all your fun things and go through the whole design process. Otherwise, if you're looking to get into something sooner than that, we have tons of inventory in the ground at all different stages. So we have some homes that are like move-in ready to go. You can get in and as soon as you guys can get it financed and appraised, which our appraiser is like 6 weeks out right now.
It's a little bit better right now, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you could still squeak one in by the end of the year. So we do have a couple that are move-in ready, and then we have a bunch that are at different stages. So anywhere from just the concrete's poured to it's framed, and then you just get to pick your interior selections. So lots of options out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good to know.
Yeah. Talk to me about like why would right now in your world be a good time to invest in a home?
Yeah, and I think I get that question a lot because the costs are going up.
Yep.
Like there was a low supply this spring, so the sale prices of homes went up,
Yep.
and that low inventory is really causing a lot of that. But on the flip side, the rates are low.
Yeah.
So when it comes to making your mortgage payment, you make your payment. You don't necessarily, the purchase price is the purchase price, but your payment every month is what comes out of your checking account.
Right.
And really what affects that the most is the rates.
Yeah.
So with the rates being low, it's still a really good time because odds are they're gonna start
At some point
creeping
they're
up
gonna
here.
start-
They have to.
We've
at
been
some
at a
point.
really good rate for a long time.
For
so,
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
get
No,
in
and
now.
everything we've been told is that they're gonna keep creeping up here. I don't know if there'll be a drastic change, but that's the hard part is I know the rates today, I don't necessarily know what they're gonna be in 6 months.
Right, yeah.
So that's tricky
So they're
sometimes
still
too.
good. Lock. How long
Yep.
are your guys' locks right now?
Yeah, so that's the one thing too with like if you're working with a local bank versus a brokerage or a mortgage banker, there's a lot of different options and everybody's gonna have kind of their niche of what they can do. So I know there are some local banks that can do like 15-month locks and there's those extended options. At Valley, we can do 300 days and we have some other options too. Obviously the ones that are ready to go are really feasible. Once you get into that 60 to 90 day window, it's not considered an extended lock.
Okay.
So that's where you get the best rates.
Yeah.
But there are other options too to lock in long term and kind of create a ceiling on the rates, and we can do a little bit of strategery.
Yeah, and I would just tell people don't be afraid to ask the questions. Like,
For sure.
I'm not an expert in lending, that's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, and the crystal ball doesn't, it's like we have kind of an idea of what's going on. We really try and keep dialed into the market and what's happening, but with the world right now, it's really hard to plan.
Yeah.
We just know what we're sitting at now, and rates are right around 3-ish.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey,
and that's really good.
Why not?
I mean, back in the day, they weren't that good.
All right, Jess, you're up. I gotta ask you a question here. So what is Thomsen's process, and how does it differ from other builders?
Yeah, so I'd say the thing that we're probably the best at is just like the streamlined process. Like, we do everything in-house, so it's like a one-stop shop. You get to come in, you meet with your design team, and our design team does such a great job of helping you. Like, if you know the look that you're going for, they're gonna help you put that together and just bring it all to life. Or if you're kind of like me and you don't know what, like, I just know what I don't like, they'll help you steer you towards the right direction, and what's trending and what's not trending, or what's on its way in and what's on its way out. I don't know those things. I'm not a design person, but they're super talented and all that stuff. So I would say that's the thing that sets us apart. We also give pricing upfront, so we're very upfront with our pricing. Unless it's something that we haven't done before, but mostly you're getting pricing in your design meetings, which is really nice because you kind of go in and you pick out all this fun stuff, and then you're like, oh my gosh, how much money did we just spend? But at Thomsen Homes, you find that out as you go along, so it's really nice to know where you're at.
And that's been my experience on the lending side too, is that the starting number is very close to the final number.
Yeah, we try to tee you up.
Usually not huge surprises unless the clients decide to change things up.
Yeah.
Which they can also do, right?
Yeah, you can kind of do what you can pick and choose whatever you want. We let you pick out, you can pick out all your different colors, or you can change up floor plans, or you can, add different things like a pantry or a bathroom or whatever your needs are, and that's when the price would change, but otherwise it kind of stays pretty consistent to what you came in at. So.
Which your lender likes.
Yeah. So don't mess with that number.
I know, don't mess with the number, please.
We'll do the best we can.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking to get, if I'm applying for a mortgage and I'm looking to make sure all my ducks are in a row, what ducks do I need to have in a row?
Yes. So first and foremost is credit, because you can have all the money in the world. Well, if you have all the money in the world, you're going to probably pay cash.
Yeah.
But if you have a substantial amount of money, but you have crummy credit, you're still not going to be able to get a loan. So that's first and foremost. So I always tell people, if they're thinking about getting pre-approved or wanting to know what they qualify for, credit is the big one. We usually can pull credit once a year without it affecting your score, so sometimes people get a little nervous about that. Yeah. But if you pull it once and we take a look at it, but you're not closing till next August because you want to build, from brand new, then we can look at it, see what we can do to get you the highest scores so that we can get you the lowest rate.
Oh yeah.
So that's
what if I have so if I go the route of I don't want to close until August, I'm going to pick out all the things.
Yep.
If I have, maybe my credit's a little shaky, will you help me, say, if you can do X, Y, and Z, that'll help get that credit score higher, and by the time we close, you should be good to go? Or
For sure, for sure. So a lot of times people think when we pull credit that it's pulling it from today.
Yeah.
Like my balance is today and where I'm at, but it's actually a lag. The creditors only report once a month to the bureau. So when we pull, it is a hard pull, but it's a little bit of a delay in a number as far as what the balances are and how many months you've been making payments. So a lot of times I'll look at it and go, hey, if you pay off this credit card, or if you do this or do that, your score can come up a good 20, 40, 80 points.
And that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
For sure,
because getting your better interest rate and all that stuff at the end.
It can change the type of financing, so maybe we go from an FHA loan to a conventional loan, which is a little easier to get through underwriting, or it can help your interest rate. So it's always good to try and work on it. And even if people have good credit, I'm always happy to take a look and say, but we could get it to
you just make this small tweak, you can do
right.
This,
we can,
all these other options.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get really overwhelmed and they're a little bit fearful about credit score, but that's the first one. And then I'd say income is the next. You want to have stable income. Yeah. So even if you're self-employed, if you've been self-employed for a couple years, we can use that.
Yep.
Sometimes people get nervous if they, say they're younger and they've graduated from a professional school and they get their first job, we can use that right away. You don't always have to have 2 years. If it's a salary job or it's a something in the field you went to school for, there's a lot of workarounds there too. So it's really making sure you talk with your lender about your specific scenario so we can kind of tell you what your timeline looks like.
And then probably be open and upfront.
Please. Yeah. I'm not the underwriter, so tell me everything, and then I figure out what I need to tell the underwriter.
Some things we won't write down, and sometimes things we do.
Exactly. No, we just want to make sure that we're creating and like painting the best picture possible for our clients so that it creates a smooth process. Because nobody likes the lending hiccups.
And go, oh, we forgot to tell you about whatever.
Job changes. And things happen, life happens, but again, talk to your lender and tell them what you're planning on doing. I've had people come to me and say, I got a job offer. And if we do it the right way, that can be great.
That can be great.
Like that can be awesome.
Yeah.
But if somebody loses their job and doesn't say anything, that's a problem. So it's make sure you talk to your lender. Cars break down, things happen, you know.
And you can find workarounds for the most part, or get creative. So
you just need to know about it ahead of time, if at all possible. So on your end, what's important to help make sure that the process goes smoothly and that you can close on time?
Yeah, so basically, again, working with your lender, making sure when they're asking for things, get it turned in, whatever they're needing to keep that moving along. And then sign off on your selection. So when you're going through your design process, you can't like take forever to make a decision. Most of the time you probably already know, and you're just kind of maybe heeing and hawing between something like the tile backsplash or something, but make those choices, sign off on them, and move forward so it can get you the paperwork that you need to do your job to move forward. And we do a really good job in-house too of just making sure to stay on top of our appraisals and things like that. We're really communicative with our lenders so that we can ensure like, hey, we're ready for you, and you're like, wait, not yet, you know, like, like, yes, we are, get them out there, you know. So we try to do a really good job of that. And so if as the buyer you can just continue to make your selections, make those choices, and stick to them, that's going to make that process that much smoother. So
yeah, I don't know how with all like the beautiful selections there are, people can make a decision, because I know I'd be one of them.
It's hard, like, and then you get to the point where you make so many decisions, you're like, I can't make any more decisions. But I wouldn't be very good at it either, I don't think. I mean, I've done it, but like, I understand it's not easy, but please, if you can make the decisions quicker, that makes it the whole process just smoother.
Well, and that's why you guys have such a great team that can help say, hey, here's what we're seeing, or I really think this would go with this,
and give their opinion, you know, like, well, if you're, you know, what are we basing it on? We've had people bring in like a photo and be like, I want my whole color scheme to be off of this, you know, and they can help you with that if you're just struggling with like some less final touches.
Well, and you guys have so many model homes too, to be able to go and visit.
Yeah, and you can go and check all those. We try to put different colors in them. We have some really fun, awesome furniture in them, thanks to EcoChic. Okay, if I'm looking if I'm debating between existing and building a home, what's the difference on the lending side? Is there a difference?
Yeah, and a lot of that depends on where the house is in the process. So like the inventory you guys said that you might have in, you know, a 60-90 day window, that's gonna look very much like a regular purchase, because really the property's already existing. You're not going through and necessarily making a ton of
and I suppose since at Thomsen Homes we don't require the buyer to get construction financing,
exactly,
just like in existing homes, so that's going to be very similar.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where new construction can get really tricky if the buyer has to carry the financing for the construction portion. And that's why it is so nice to have builders in town like you guys that carry that for them, so then it's just a purchase.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's just a purchase. We don't have to deal with any of that.
Right. So the biggest thing on our end is the timeline. Again, so like extended lock options, things like that could come into play. And then the other thing is with special assessments and property taxes, it gets a little funky because we don't know. It's arbitrary numbers, it's estimates until we get a lot closer to closing, and there's things like tax abatements and pending specials and proposed and like all these fun things that are in there. So
and that's why we need local lenders.
Right.
A lot of times the online guys don't know about all these fun things.
And we want to make sure that we're setting up the escrow account that pays for those taxes and specials as accurately as possible without having to collect a ton of extra either. Because there's a difference.
There's that in between. Because if you're collecting too much and that payment's too high.
Right.
So you got to get it like.
Yeah, and you have overage and shortage, and there's all those things. So we try really hard to make sure that people understand what it's going to look like, what their payment will look like now versus next year versus 3 years from now, and that's going to differ too with North Dakota and Minnesota.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd say that's the biggest difference is really just the timeline and the interest rate locks and what that looks like, and then just making sure the taxes and the specials.
So really, as long as I'm going local, I just ask all the questions, and I'm sure you guys help probe the questions for
me. We do. We definitely do. And when we go on the county site versus like the MLS, the numbers are very different.
Yeah, because they're always changing.
Right. So the property taxes on new construction for a listing are on the land only, like the lot only.
Right.
So they look really appealing. Right. It's like, oh, my taxes are only $400 a year. It's like,
not true.
This year they might be, but once the house is on there, they won't be. So that's why we try and make sure that we tee it up right and qualify them for the correct number.
Not just
and then set it up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Set it up accordingly. Yeah. So what are the top 3 things that people should look for in a builder?
Yeah, I would say if I was going out to look for a builder, I would just look for that upfront pricing and transparency. There's so many things when you go through the building process that are just kind of unknown. So who can maybe present those unknowns up front to you? And sometimes it's hard, but I know that's one thing we strive to do is we really want you to know what you're getting into. We try to make sure there's no surprises at the end with extra costs and things like that. And I know sometimes that's even a fault of ours because we are so upfront. We'll show you like extra costs up front when no other builder is talking about that. So you may choose the other builder, but then at the end you're going to get those charges anyway.
Right.
So just make sure like they're talking through all the things. And some builders do allowances, and what does that mean? Like, how far off is the allowance compared to actual? And so just really try to get to the bottom of what that looks like. So
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna ask, how do we get in touch with you? Like, how would be the best way to reach out to you?
So I really try to make it easy for clients because I understand that not everybody is available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So we have an online application, so that would just be www.lindseysvir.com. I have it forwarded to there, so it makes it easier. You can go onto the Valley Mortgage website as well and find me there. Otherwise, I always make sure that I share my phone number for text and everything too. And I've done Zoom calls and and all the things.
Yeah.
in
whatever
COVID era.
In that thing where whatever works for you guys. How do you want to meet? We'll meet you where you are.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's like the one nice thing that's come out of COVID is that we've all become more flexible.
Yes.
We've had to.
Yeah.
And it makes it nice for me too to be able to be flexible for my clients. So that's How about you, Jess?
Yeah, so you can reach us. Our sales team is always working, so sales@thomsenhomesllc.com is going to be the quickest way to get an answer. You can also go to our website, thomsenhomesllc.com. I'm like, what's our website? And even there's a little chat bot in there, like someone's always answering that. Or you can always call up our office and push 1 and sales always answers. So we're always here to answer those questions for you if you're out looking at houses or need an address. So
Google.
Just Google.
Ask Google. Alexa.
Alexa, how do I get all the Thomsen Homes?
I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming over.
This is a lot of fun. And you guys have beautiful houses. I love working with you.
Yes, it's been fun. So thank you. Lindsey does great work. We highly recommend her. So
thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Have a great day.